I don't know exactly right where we're live, but we are live. We keep trying to get this right, and I don't know. I keep trying to add more stuff to it. Let me get on here and get this one going. Let me just put in here, please look for new broadcast. First one failed. We'll be going here in just a second, guys. All right, I'm going to close that one down.
I see it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, do you guys, you actually see the...
Yep, I see it.
I see it.
Okay, so it says we're live. Do you just see my post, or you actually see the live channel? Huh?
I see.
Okay, are you seeing me, honey?
Yeah, I'm seeing you.
We see you, honey.
All right, guys. Boy, I tell you what, every time I try to get fancy, it just bites me in the butt. So anyway, guys, welcome. Thank you guys for watching. It's always fun. We'll figure it out before it's over with. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that we've got all of our. There we go. All right, S. Carlson, Walt. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll figure it out. We'll get this thing figured out. Yeah, we don't have the echo today, so that's always a good thing.
Well, it just goes to prove we're not experts at this, huh, Scott?
Boy, don't you know it. TNT 2012. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, our audio sounds good so far. That was an issue on my part. Last week, the last few weeks, I'm learning. I keep trying to add more goodies into this, and it bites you. And some of this stuff you can't test unless you go live. And so, the editing software I use, it allows you to send things all over the internet, and you just got to be really careful. And we only do one of these broadcasts a week, so it's kind of a pain. All right, let me double check here. Okay, everything looks like it's working. So all of our chats are being recorded.
Yep. And
we are good. So now that we've wasted a whole 9 minutes, and you guys still haven't been able to hear this beautiful song that we did, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play the song now, so then that way you guys can actually hear it, and then we'll make our introductions. Okay, so here we go, guys.
From the top.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you love horsepower, fiberglass, and that unmistakable V8, make some noise right now. We're talking real builds, real passion, real Corvette live, straight from the streets to the car shows. Welcome, Scott. If you don't know him yet, you will. You can find him on the Corvette channel on YouTube, bringing that torch red energy, that Corvette attitude, and that lifestyle we all live. Let's hear it for Scott. Turn it up, fire it up, and let's ride. Remember that night down south of the line? Pedal to the floor, Mexico roads, running out of time. Laughing too loud with the windows down, youth in the engine, freedom in the sound. Burning rubber memories, yeah, they still stick. Feel like kings of the road for a moment like this. Some folks chase money, some chase a name. We just chase headlights and gasoline. Yeah, we bleed Corvette, red, blue, purple shine. Torch red dreams under neon lights. Riptide blue flying Z06 roar. Stereo purple turning heads once more. From late night rides to Sunday mornings. Coffee cups, chrome stories pouring. It ain't just fiberglass, it's a way of life. We don't just drive them, man, we live Corvette Pride. porch, red sitting mean, talking horsepower like it's poetry. Kevin rides a Z06 and Riptide Blue. Every stoplight knows when he rolls through. Jack pulls up purple metallic glow. A stereo pain got the whole town slow. Cars lined up, clean sunlight, it's chrome. Every curve feels like home. Yeah, we bleed Corvette, red, blue, purple shine. Polished dreams under open skies. Cars show crowds, engines humming. Old school hearts with a future running. From back road pulls to caffeine dawns. Cars and coffee, Sundays on. It ain't just fiberglass, it's a way of life. We don't just drive them, man, we live Corvette Pride. Seats, breezy V8 sound, even named his dog after the legend now. But none of this ride would be possible tonight without the one by his side, holding him right. Jennifer standing through thick and thin. Every mile he's driven, she's been all in. Yeah, we bleed Corvette, red, blue, purple shine. Past and future meet every time. Brothers by the road, not by blood. Built on torque, trust and brotherhood. From Mexico nights to Sunday lights, still chasing that same first ride. It ain't just fiberglass, it's a way of life. Yeah, we don't just drive them, we live Corvette Pride. Engine's cool, but the fire don't fade.
All right, guys, we're back, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the song. My wife Jennifer had that done up for me, and I just feel that's it kind of the way I actually do live most of the time. There's a couple things I got to do here. I've got to be able to reset the reset our counter for the comment picker, as well as getting the chat working here really fast, guys. So bear with me. While I'm doing that, Jack, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put. I know you promised everybody to be able to see your screen, your car, your other one. So do me a favor and talk about that just for a second while I'm getting all this other stuff put back together. Okay.
Well, thank you, Scott. Yeah, and a shout out to the Corvettes of Lodi group. I think some of you might recognize Jack, this car. Once Scott gets it up here, and we're going to put a big picture of it up. Some people asked last week to see the cover of my C7 Z06 I had in black rose metallic, and there's a picture of it. And it's a good looking car. And I had no intentions of getting rid of it until Scott came along, and now you see behind me is what I got. But this was a 17 Z06 in black rose, very rare color. Everywhere we took this car, it was just everybody was just couldn't believe the color of it. Everybody thought it was a wrap or something like that. But yeah, that is the car that that I parted with. I didn't think I'd ever part with it, but I did. So that's about all you can say about that car. Other than I do miss it at times, but I do love the one I got behind me too. So maybe should have kept that one and had two of them at the same time. I don't know. So, but that's it.
All right, cool. Well, you got me enough time to get everything going, Jack. So that's good.
Well, that was good because
that is definitely a beautiful car. There is no doubt. You know, that was a toss up for you to get rid of that car. It really was.
It was a serious toss up. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, my wife said, I want you to look at this thing. She goes, because once it's gone, it's gone. And I don't want to hear you whining about, I don't like this one as much as I miss the other one. So, yes. So nobody would ever know whether they do miss it or not. So,
yeah. That's awesome. guys, I got the chat working. I can see you guys all here. I see S. Carlton, you're here. Yeah, no, that color is awesome. That black rose. TNT, same thing. Marcus, Christina, I see you guys are here. Nice to see you guys. My wife's hanging out in here too. And Dan, good to see you. He should have kept it. Yeah, well, you never know. He might go buy it back if they're not driving it, like you said, Yeah. So, guys, let me do a little housekeeping since we've already screwed up. Oh, it seems like I always burn up about 10 minutes. Maybe I should just start doing everything 10 minutes early, and then that way we'll get started on time. So if you notice, Kevin, he's got a pretty demanding job. He's been waiting all day. He puts in fire suppression systems, and he's been waiting all day long for a fire marshal to sign off on all of his work. So he's hightailing it home. He's gonna try to join us, but in case you guys were wondering, if Kevin had changed his looks and got some plastic surgery done or something, but we've got Tim Court on the show with us tonight. He's the owner of Eikon Motorsports, and he's we're trying to be able to talk about different stuff that that you might be interested in, and I've mentioned Larry, my buddy Larry Tonti over at Corvette Tent World in Concord, in Concord, California, and so Tim originally had contacted me and about becoming a dealer for Eikon, and I'm. Right at this point, I'm not that big, right? So it was one of those things I said, well, I think I know exactly who to get you in touch with. And so I got him in touch with Larry, and that has turned out to be a great setup for both of them. And so Tim is here to talk about the stuff. Larry he loves the set that Tim did for him, and they did a video on that. And so Tim, you probably can talk about that if they want to go take a look at that video. But we're gonna try to take some questions from you guys. You can see his car back there. He's got a 23 Z51 that he's got his doors on, and he's been doing this for a long time. He's probably all the doors that you guys have on your cars now. He's probably put those on. Right, he may have actually done some of your installs. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to introduce him, and we've got some different things to talk about and show you guys as far as pictures and video of the stuff and how it goes. And so you guys just fire off those questions, all right? And he'll be happy to see if he can answer them. So welcome, Tim. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Appreciate
you are our very first guest. So awesome. So that's cool. So, yeah. So go ahead and Tim, take it away.
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, I've done in my career, I've been doing specifically vertical doors installations for going on almost 27 years. So to say that I've probably done some of your viewers' installs is probably true. They might not have known that I was the one that did it, but that's irrelevant. I've done over 7,000 cars in my career, so I've done a lot. Now, granted, the majority of them were not our brand or our kits that we manufacture, but it's basically the same. The concept's the same. So definitely know a lot about this industry. I've seen it all. I've seen doors fall off cars. You name it, I've probably seen it. I've seen problem after problem. So I know that there's a lot of obvious, myths and things people assume and think, with the vertical door modification. And I appreciate the opportunity to come and hopefully clarify and clear up some of those, questions.
Yeah. Guys, we got any questions here? First ones, like I said, you're going to be able to have the chance to be able to win a t-shirt tonight. Also here for this month's sponsor is Solar Performance. And so they're going to be giving away 2 throttle controllers to fit a C7 or a C8. And so we're going to have those. We're going to be doing a t-shirt this week. We'll do a throttle controller next week. And then we'll be doing another, then a t-shirt or a mug probably, and then another throttle controller for the end of the month. And guys, do you guys have any questions, or should we just kind of just talk about stuff and see whether or not you guys are interested? Okay, here we go. Dan, thanks for shooting it off here. He says, "Hi Tim, I have a 23 C8. What does it cost?" Well, right to the point. Okay,
Straight
Tim,
to
right
it.
on.
Not even dinner first. Wow. No, so after everything's said and done, obviously we're a website. So we charge tax based on where we're incorporated from. So we're incorporated in the state of Wyoming. So we're one of the cheapest sales tax. So it's right around like 4,600 all in and done. And that's depending on whatever edition you want, the colors that you want, and installed in your driveway.
That's cool.
Tim, how long does it take for an installation on both doors? How long does it usually take you to get both doors done?
I always like to tell people between 4 to 6 hours. I'm old, so I'm not rushing with anything anymore. So that's the range because of that, 4 to 6 hours. It also really depends on how much of a pain in the butt the car wants to be. So the latch that normally would hold your door out in various areas or various distances, like regular OEM doors, it seems like the factory, that bolt, which is a 110 millimeter nut, either you get very, very little Loctite on it, which it's very easy to take that bolt out, or I've came across quite a few that's like a whole bottle of Loctite on that whole nut. And that has to be meticulously removed the right way, because the flaw that I've noticed in the C8 itself is they have little rings inside, like the subframes and the frames that are where the threads are. And it's almost like they spot weld that ring. And I've noticed spot welds being missing from the factory. So if you put too much torque on that ring, it'll snap that off. And then you have to basically perform surgery to get that thing off and to replace it. It's not fun.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not fun at all.
We run into that a lot of times with the steering wheels too. At the steering wheels, they put a little too much Loctite. Dan's got a follow-up question. He says, "I'm a car salesman. What do you expect?" And we've got a couple other questions here. Marcus and Christina, they're asking, "Do you have to cut any of the sheet metal panels to install the doors?" I don't think there is really any sheet metal in there, is there?
No, on the C8, there's absolutely no sheet metal on the. There's aluminum parts of the frame and those types of things, but I actually have it's back here. I can grab a piece of the fender, but there's an L bracket where the frunks, the 2 shocks that hold the frunk up now, it's like an L bracket, and there's a center brace that extends past the frame. We trim that bracket back so the kit can bolt onto the frame of the vehicle. But we have to modify the fender and cut that center mount place off anyways. So that L bracket becomes kind of useless anyways. So that has to be removed. And then it's just trimming the fenders back. But everything looks, especially how we do it, everything looks OEM. You don't, and actually some of our videos that are on our channel, you'll see I've held the fenders up to the cameras like that. And then I've also had customers come out and ask them, "Where did I make the cuts?" And they're like, I have no idea. Where did you even cut it yet? Like, yeah, it's been modified already.
Very, very cool. We got another question for you. TNT 2012. How's the long-term durability with the vertical door struts?
So, that is, and again, I'm a very full disclosure, very transparent person. I believe that the transparency is the way to be. Sometimes too transparent at times, but it is what it is. As far as long-term goes, obviously I've got over 20 years of experience with the competitor's product. The brand of the shocks that they use is not the same brand of shocks that we use in our kit. We actually use a step above. Now, the owners or the founders of both Hans and Bonsbach, which is Bonsbach's used by Vertical Doors, With them, we were seeing average lifespan of between 10 to 15 years when we would do the install. And it's very important. It's not a sales tactic, but it's very important to say when we would do the installs, because the way their kit is designed, it doesn't allow for, you have to get it right. You can't have unnecessary torque or tension in any way, shape, or form on the shock mounting location, or you're just going to cause stress in that piston that's going to wear and tear at the sleeve. So that's where you see like the complaints and the negativity online about, yeah, don't do it because you're only going to get a year and you're going to have to change your shocks at every year. Well, if it was installed wrong, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That's just the way that goes. If it's not installed the right way, yeah, you're going to have issues. So in my experience, we saw about 10 to 15 years. Now, with that being said, obviously, we don't have 10 to 15 years of experience with the V2 series. However, because our shocks manufacturer guarantees our shocks to us for a duty cycle rating, which is like 75,000 duty cycles for the shocks that we use, we just automatically give you a lifetime warranty on the shocks. So if they do fail, which they will eventually, it's just a matter of when, you get them free. You get them free from us for life.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow, that is nice. That is really nice.
So Jim, I got a question. Let's say somebody has an accident or something like that, and one of them gets damaged. What is the follow-up, something like that, to maybe get it replaced?
So we charge, so for situations like that, like I recently actually last week had a customer and he was like, can I just buy a set of shocks? And I'm like, well, why would you want to buy a set of shocks if you get free replacements when they fail? He's like, well, just so I don't have to wait. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm not going to argue. You know, I understand what it's like to be impatient as someone who is impatient myself sometimes. So I get it. So I believe we charged them, I don't know, like $75 or $85 for a set. It would be the same scenario. Obviously, if your car's in an accident, we're not going to say impossible to damage a shock, but if it were to where it wasn't under warranty, then yeah, about $75, $85 for a complete set.
Okay.
And that's painted and re-etched too. That's not just the shock. That's whatever addition you had, whatever color your shocks were. That's us redoing it with your serial numbers and all the number matching stuff.
So we've got some pictures to be able to show you guys some of this stuff too. That it's not just the simple bare metal or black and no information. You know, once you get these things on, you know, people go, oh yeah, I got them installed from so and so, and you know, but I don't remember who it was. I don't have a phone number anymore. I don't have any of that. And you're gonna see on here. That was one of the things I was super impressed with when I saw Larry's install, was that in the hinges, and we can bring that up, but in the hinges, you're going to see all of that information. There's a phone number to call. There's all of the different stuff that's got their serial number. It's done, you know, like he was talking about the different colors. So we'll I guess I should bring that up so you guys can see it. But it's not just a cookie cutter, one size fits all. Everything is, you know, it's custom. They do a really good job with this. So, you know, let me see here if I can find. I've got this thing kind of broke out here.
Yeah, while you look that up, if I can address a question here, who I'm looking for it. I'm sorry, so apologize. It was where'd it go?
Well, we've got a few
Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus. Yes, is it possible to reinstall the factory doors if the vertical doors don't work out?
100%. You can go back to factory at any point in time, and either you or your potential rebuyer, the new buyer of the car, would never notice that it was ever done in the first place.
Nice.
And they won't even see the modifications that were done to make it work.
Right. Yeah, I was able to see Larry's car this past weekend, and I mean, it was a very nice looking setup. He was extremely happy with his car. Very nice looking setup.
Yeah.
I appreciate that personally, and I'm sure he does too.
So guys,
well, I mean, that was the, you know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, what I was just going to say is that right now. You guys can't see it, Tim, but I'm cycling the pictures of the struts and the different colors with the black.
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah,
with the door there. So I'm just cycling through those. It's gonna restart here. and then we'll move on to some of the other pictures that we've got. But yeah, we've got that for them to see. So we've got another question here too, and this is from Tina. Hi, Tina. It says, I was wondering if these doors would make it easier for me to get in and out of my car. I'm 6'2" tall.
Okay. The answer is absolutely yes. I'm 6'3", and I'm not gonna say that that's the only way I can get in and out of this car, obviously, but it makes it so much easier for sure to get in and out of the car, and that was. I think any car that the doors can go up out of the way enough, it's easier to get in and out. For me, because it's also these doors are so thick. So when you can just sit and like kind of spin and pivot, and it just makes it easier for sure. And I think that was one of the main design attempts when we first came out with the V1. And obviously now on the V2, but the differences obviously are our doors go up so much higher, and it's not an uncomfortable highness, but that was what was imperative to make sure we don't become too uncomfortable too, because you got to reach and pull that door down. So it all has to be high enough to be completely out of your way. And when I say out of your way, not just the getting in and out per se, but also the bending, the navigating through the opening to get through your door. And you shouldn't have to bend and flex and avoid the door, then get in a weird position to get in and out. And that's what we've achieved with ours versus the other kits that are on the market.
But we know that these things, I don't care what your age is, there is no graceful way of getting in and out of these cars. And you cannot look pretty or stylish getting in and out. It doesn't happen, folks. We all know this.
No, it sure doesn't. So Tim, I've just cycled through the first two batches of pictures here.
Yeah,
moving on to what I call video 2. Now this one here is, guys, Jack and Tim, they're on a little bit of a delay. I get to see everything over on my side. I get to see what you guys are seeing. So they're a little bit impaired there. So they're going to kind of see this. But what he's showing here is he's got some pictures. And Tim, you can talk about it. These are the ones that you were showing that has the Acura marks on it. These are the ones from
So I see what you're showing. You see that like kind of like stamped in, hammered in wording there, and it's AURA 062, whatever the letters are. So this is obviously, and again, I want to just state, this isn't me talking crap or talking trash or talking smack, obviously, about the competitor. That's not what this whole thing's about. But it's about pointing out the differences, because that's, people call us and they're like, well, what's the difference? Now there's multiple options. Like, what's the difference? So this is clear that the wording that was on there, and that arm was obviously designed for an Acura, something, but it wasn't designed for a C8. Now, we were talking earlier, Scott, and like I told you, the fact that parts can be interchangeable, that, and as far as business is concerned, in my opinion, that makes sense. That's a good thing. But you would think you would know your audience in a sense and who your clientele is. And just in my 27 years of doing this, Corvette owners don't like to be grouped into other vehicle ownerships, and other car enthusiasts. Corvette people are a different breed. I mean, I think we could all agree on that, right?
We agree on that. Yes.
Yeah. It's a different breed, and I've said this in videos, so I can't shy away from it because I've already publicly said this. Corvette owners are sometimes the absolute worst people to work for.
We are.
We
are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's the worst. It's the worst for humbling reasons, and I've always also said that it's because these are people's dream cars. This isn't like what most younger generations and people would say, look at a Lamborghini or Ferrari and say, oh my God, I want that Bugatti. This is humbling to these people, and just their dad, their grandfather, had this at a C1, back in, like, all these different things. And they're honest, hardworking gentlemen, and some women, obviously, that are passionate about the car and the brand, but they've had to work their whole life to be able to afford this car. Exactly. So to them, yeah, that is their Bugatti, and I get that. I completely respect that. And I understand. So that's what I mean when I say Corvette owners are
Yep.
some of the worst. Because like you look at their car wrong, and they're like, "Get out of my garage! You've totaled my car." You know. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Absolutely. So,
but
well,
what you're
Tim,
seeing in
now,
the
yeah,
yeah,
what you're seeing now is some of the original hinges, and these are the reason I wanted to show these was that this is what I see in my shop a lot, right? I don't
yeah,
install these doors, right? But am always having to work on these doors. And
yeah,
what you're seeing right here is exactly all of this flex that isn't there when you first get your stuff installed, right?
no,
This is from just wear and tear because it's metal to metal. There's no bushings, there's no bearings, there's no nothing. It's just
no.
and it's nuts and bolts that you can see
Yeah.
are rubbing all over the place. And
So
yeah, it's just
yeah, sorry. I mean,
go ahead. No, you're fine.
y-
Please
yeah.
elaborate.
So yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, what you're looking at in this video that's playing on the repeat here is you that's their, and I'm using air quotes now, is their bearing. That's what allows that door to go up and down. It's basically a bushing style bearing, which isn't really a bearing. It's not designed for, rotation, multiple times of rotational, forces, and anything with grease. You're just trying to put a barrier of lubrication between metal on metal. I mean, it's going to wear and tear. That's engineering, So you're gonna get, when you first get one of their kits installed, yeah, it feels tight, it feels good, it feels this and that. But literally after 5, 6, 7 times going up and down, this is what you're seeing. In this video right now that's playing, we took this off of a customer's car that had this kit on it from brand new. We didn't do the original install. But he had the Vertical Door Inc. brand kit on this car and this one right here for 8 months. So all the rust, all the wobble, all the play, everything you're looking at is a kid that has only been on the car for 8 months. And he only ever drove it, according to him, maybe once or twice on a weekend, and it was to a Cars and Coffee. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like an everyday driver. It wasn't, I'm not going to the gas station. I'm not going to, the grocery store. To be honest, most Corvette owners aren't driving their car every day, which
Right.
is fine.
Yep.
But it's metal on metal. You're just going to create like what you see, these grooves. So however tight it is in the beginning, it's not going to stay tight for more than 5 or 6 operations, and then it's going to be loose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, we've got a lot of
I can attest to this because every one of these, and they squeak like monsters.
Yes, they do.
Karen and Larry, if you guys are watching, you know exactly. Al, you know it too. So hopefully my Corvettes and Lodi people, guys, hopefully you guys are watching. Yeah, you guys know this, right? I just got done taking care of Karen and Larry's to get those to stop squeaking. It was driving me crazy. So well, let's switch back over here. We got some more questions that are queuing up here. So Tina, thank you for that information. There you go.
Yeah, and just to finish up that, like the video, obviously you're taking it down, but if you notice, if you remember that they had the greasers on there to how you re-grease their kit.
Yep.
But if you look at the orientation of them, they're backwards. So not only is this kind of a flawed, outdated system, but you have to tear your car apart just to re-grease them. You can't get to these grease zerks without doing that.
Well,
so it's just a major
I'll be honest with you. I was looking at that and I was thinking to myself, I've never seen that grease zert in any of the ones that I've ever worked on.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it's hidden back behind. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's hidden back behind, and then also too. And again, I'm laughing, but again, I'm not trying to poke fun, and I'm not trying to just like bash or talk crap. And I hope nobody assumes that or thinks that. But it's just because these grease zerks aren't even the right kind that should be used. They're not screwed in. These are plastic. These are designed for plastic material, not metal. So metal grease zerks screw in. These don't. These have to, if anyone's ever bought their brand kit, you get these in a bag that you have to put in yourself. And it's like, I personally have broken so many of them trying to put them in because they're not screw-in. They're pressure fit. So it's just,
they look like, are they aluminum? Those look like they're aluminum too. They don't even look like,
they are.
Yeah, nice. Aluminum and steel. That's not going to work back and forth. So also, Tina just asked, what's the availability and how long to install? Well, Tina, you missed out on the how long to install part. But Tim, go ahead. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
once we arrive to do the install, it's generally between 4 to 6 hours, from start to finish. 4 to 6 hours. We pace ourselves. There's no, when you rush on any car, that's where you risk, making mistakes. So we don't rush anything. We also know what we're doing. I mean, on our YouTube channel, if you go through the Corvettes of Carlisle show from a few years ago, I actually did a C8 completely blindfolded. And the funny thing is, the install that's in that video was like, why does your side look and feel better than my side? Well, that's nothing more than experience. That's that's the best way to
Right.
answer that.
Yeah.
I've done so many of them that yes, and what's funny about that is, for anyone that watches that video, the what's leading to the area or the part of that video where I actually did an install blindfold is, you hear me earlier before, somebody in the background talking about, man, Tim's done so many of these things, he could probably do it blindfolded. And I was just sitting at the booth, and I was just trying to be funny. I was like, come back tomorrow and watch the the very first blindfolded installation, and I followed through with it and I did it. So live at the Carlisle
Nice.
show. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So guys, we be sure, and if you're liking this video, please hit the thumbs up, hit that like button, please. It helps us a lot. Dan, we got another question for you. It says, do you install special grab handles to close the door from the inside? Don't need to, do you?
So no. So when we were selling and installing the Vertical door brand kits, we actually did make little straps for some customers, mainly the female customers, because as any of you guys know that has their kit on your car, it is very difficult to raise their doors and lower the doors sometimes, especially if it's brand new. It takes a long time for that pressure to equalize, and it never really does to where it's easy to go up and down. But with ours, you don't. With the V2s, let me rephrase. With our V1s, we're much easier to lift and lower than the Vertical door brand, for sure. But what we did to their kit back when the V1s came out, we did to ourselves when the V2s came out. So we kind of I was just asked this question the other day about our leaked / talked about electric version. And we've put all of that kind of on the back burner, because with the V2s, there's really no need for it anymore. I mean, if you've messed with Larry's, you know how truly easy it is to lift and lower that door.
Right.
It's pretty effortless at this point with our kit.
Nice.
Yep.
So no straps are really needed.
Okay. Awesome. All right. GS Walt has a question for you. What maintenance is required? What do we need to do? X amount of openings and closings.
So what we found in, again, our limited experience with our shocks that we use on our kit, we're finding that our shocks are settling by the end of the install. So typically we do obviously one side. I mean, I guess that's kind of normal because we're not doing two at the same time, but we're doing one side. By the time we're finished with the second side, we're back there readjusting that first shock because it's already kind of settled a bit. Typically what we're finding is depending on usage, obviously, but if you go up and down a couple times a day, within a week, our shocks are completely breaking in and settling. And then once you make that initial adjustment, which our kit was designed to be adjustment free, but I know that sounds weird because I just said once you make that first adjustment, but it's science. You can't change the fact that the gas shock has to equalize, has to break in. Once that breaks in, then you make that adjustment, and then you never have to touch this kit again on your car.
Oh, nice.
So Tim, that first adjustment, is
free.
the customer allowed to do that adjustment, or do you take it to a specialist that you have designated at?
Nope. We designed this to where you do it yourself. We'll walk you through it if you need the assistance. It takes 3 seconds to do.
Okay.
You don't take anything off the car. It's right there. It's easy. And you do this one time and then that's it.
Okay. That sounds very easy.
It is. I mean, it really truly is. I know a lot of people in the past have kind of panicked, like, oh my God, what do I do? I don't want to, because all they know is that when we did this in the first place, we took their whole car apart. So they just kind of in their head think, man, I got to take this, like, or this has happened. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to. So it's a very simple, easy adjustment once that shock breaks in. What I've always the analogy that I've always used to explain to customers is when the kit is brand new and it's freshly installed, imagine the shock kind of holding up 1% of the door's weight. Once that shock breaks in, now it's no longer holding up 1% of that weight. So the door will settle, or I guess what people like to say, sag a little bit. We try to offset it in anticipation for that break in, but it's not an exact science, obviously. So it's just we get it into the realm of it's not going to drop to where it's going to cause damage or an issue. But yeah, it's going to feel like your door's out of alignment because it is, on that kind of a tolerance level, it is out of alignment. And that's why we made the adjustment as fine tooth as we did. So you can get that perfect, and it's simple and very easy to do.
Nice.
Awesome.
And,
Tina, again,
and same with our shocks.
Oh yeah, Tina,
So-
you're a
sorry.
little bit late again. This one was answered already, but your friend Larry Tonti, this is where you'd go. You'd go through Larry to get to Tim. So he's the man that you need to talk to be able to do these, and it would be just like the one that Larry has on his car. Okay.
Yeah, and it would be me coming to do it to Tent World. It'll be me coming. So that's kind of the wholesale account that we have with Larry. I love Larry. Larry's awesome. I actually just talked to him earlier today, and the day before yesterday. He's got a couple people that just recently placed orders, and it's going to be my first. I don't have the invoice in front of me, but I think it was the Silver Flare, which is going to be our first Silver Flare edition that we've ever done. Is one of his that he ordered for a customer.
Good. That means because I live 30 minutes from Larry's shop, I can come down and watch you do the whole install then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, something to do.
You're perfectly located, Jack. I tell you, you're just a little bit away from me, a little bit away from that. So the way we're kind of set up, Tim, is that we're almost a triangle. They're over a little bit closer to Larry than I am. So
nice.
So Nora 10, what is it? 102010 Gallardo. Boy, that's a long name. I butchered
Right?
that. I know I did. She just paid you a compliment. It's all in the
Nice. Thank you.
installer. Yes, absolutely. It sure enough is. And I get that all the time too. It's when you do it enough, it just is something like, you can do it. You can typically feel it with your hands. There's a lot of times that people will be watching me here in the shop, and I'm like looking out in the street, right? And I've got my arm up in a fender, and they're like, well, how do you do that? Well, you've done it so many times, you just know, you just feel it.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
We know in the Corvette community, if somebody does a good job, the word spreads fast. And just like if somebody doesn't get a good product, that word spreads fast too. So yeah, I mean, reputation goes a lot with this job.
It does. It really does. Both good and bad. The good reputation, and then obviously the bad part spreads. So, and Scott and I, we were talking, the other day about that, and it's just, it's something that I was optimistic about and look forward to, doing this with you guys, is being able to actually answer the questions, because I'm sure that there's people that have heard some things and rumors, and I'm done, kind of hanging out in the proverbial shadows, and want to kind of get out in front of it and address all of those, types of myths and rumors and stuff. So,
Yep. Well, with that, I mean, when we were talking, I just wanted to be able to get you out there. I thought that you have a superior product from what I've seen. I've been working on the old ones and seeing the new ones, and just recently I have been having to do a bunch of door adjustments because you saw how the pins are wearing things out. The doors sag. Now it's hitting the striker plate, and that's all just been happening in this last week. All right. I've had to do 3 repairs. And so I said, this is a perfect opportunity. And this is what this show is, what I'm wanting the show to be, is to be able to be a way of being able to help people. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying that. The Nora 10-2010 Gallardo, I'm assuming it's a she, loves my doors by Eikon. So this must have been one of your customers at one point. So that's really cool.
Maybe.
Yep. So,
So I would remember the Gallardo as a name, and that doesn't sound familiar to me, but
yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Well, Tim, we're going to sit here and wait for a little bit more. We'll have some more questions, I'm sure. In the meantime, I'm going to jump over to another question. It says, do you guys have any information on what new products from EOS will release for the C6, if any? EOS, so they are bringing stuff out constantly. They now have a few different. They've got taillights now for the C7. They also have, and they've been doing headlights for the C6. I think they've got like 3 different versions of headlights now. They've got one that is a replacement, which is halogen bulbs that still look exactly like the factory ones, right? And then you have an option to be able to do the C8 version of lights, and you can also do the C. So they have C7, C6, C7, and C8 now, lookalikes that are direct bolt-ins. I've done all of them; they all work great. So that's something that I can think of right off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, check out the website, guys. There's always stuff coming. They're not always so. They don't always give me that much information ahead of time. I have to kind of reach out and I got to look myself. I will tell you this, that I just spoke with VetLights. They said there's some more stuff coming. Go to vetlights.com and check out their stuff. Here in the next week or two, there's probably going to be some more stuff coming down the pipe. That's all I can really say, but it is for C6. Okay, he wouldn't tell me any more than that, and that might have been more than what he was supposed to tell me. But take a look. And he has a C6. Cole over there at VetLights, he's got a C6, and he's got a lot of goodies. So be sure and check him out. Okay, he's a great supporter of our channel too. So guys, be sure, if you guys have got any other questions for Tim, please pop them in. We've had some really good response here. All these questions are entering you into a chance to be able to win a men's or women's t-shirt tonight. So
do I get
be
to win too?
Sure. Yeah, you got to put your comment in the chat. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think he needs a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yep. We'll put you in. You just got to put your name in there. Go ahead and put a chat in. You'll be good. In the meantime, while we're doing that, I'm going to move you back over to our other screen. And I just got this just before we went live. And those of you that are local to the area, we're hoping that you guys might be able to make it. Like I told you, we try to promote all of the different shows that are in the area and events. And this just happens to be right here in my backyard on February 14th, Valentine's Day. This is at Grumpy's Hot Rods. If any of you guys have come to one of their shows, you know that they do a really great job. And their facility has gotten so much bigger. And those, usually a regular hot rod, and most of you guys know this, most of the, let's see, well, we'll go back to that in a second. Most of you that we go to these car shows, right? If they're a hot rod show, a Corvette doesn't have a chance in the world to win. They just don't, right? Except for Grumpy's, okay? They are very, very, very fond of us, the Corvette channel. We're good friends. They do make, as you can see right here, there's, they've got 10 trophies. They posted those up there like that. Typically the Corvettes, they are walking away with 3 to 5 of these awards at any given time. When we did our big show in Reno, they were there. They brought their Camaro there, so they're really good. So it's always for a good cause, and it really they put on a really, really good show. And like I said, with their new facility they've got, they do a great job. So if you guys are in this area, be sure and go. Okay. So anyway, Sonny, I know you're spreading the word of our channel, and I appreciate that. So if you guys are watching tonight, thank you so much. Okay, let's get back to few more of our questions here. It says, let's see. So Nora asks, what happened with Verticle
Nora.
Doors Inc. and Eikon? Why did you make your own, Tim?
Oh God.
Yeah,
that is a lot to unpack. I'll do a quick version of that, I guess.
yeah.
You know, first, like I said before, Vertical Doors makes a great kit. They do make a great kit. That's, you know, hindsight being 2020, I guess, too. But you think something is great until you have something to compare it to, and then those types of things really stand out, the differences. But the main reason why we had to make a decision is because years ago we were suffering from people within Vertical Doors, specifically Autumn. This is the GM. I can say names on here, right? If it's true, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Too late
later.
now.
Yeah, as long as it's true, yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's true. So, anyways, it all kind of honestly started from a Facebook post about 7 years ago or 6 years ago. And we were, again, at this time, we were nothing more than an installation company. We traveled the world. We were the only company that traveled. We're still the only company that travels the world doing installs, but we were the only one at the time nationwide too. And we posted something in response to a picture that somebody posted of a Corvette with doors up in the air, and we asked, like, what's with the hideous wires? And I guess you can't see, like right in this area right here, in some of those pictures, you traditionally will see the wire loom hanging there. Obviously on the one behind me, you don't see that. So anyways, long story short, come to find out, we weren't trying to instigate something. We were an installation company, and all we were trying to do was take advantage of somebody posted a picture of what we classified as a crappy or less than perfect installation. And that, hey, there's other options. You know, we want the sales, we want, you know, the advertising. And come to find out, it was a vertical door kit, obviously, which we knew. But the problem was that Vertical Doors did that installation. And so they found out, and they took that as a, why are you talking crap, you know, and this is that. And I'll never forget the phone call. I was sitting down in my seat on a plane to come back to Phoenix from Seattle, and it was Nick from Vertical Doors, and he called and I answered. I said, "Hey, what's up?" He said, "Hey, so this isn't going to be a conversation. I'm just letting you know right now that if we ever hear you talking shit about us again, we're going to cancel your contract and blah 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 blah." And I did one of those like, okay, and then hung up. I still didn't know what this was about at the time. So fast forward an hour and a half flight, I land, my phone just goes, bloop, and it's Autumn. And she's going on and on about this. So I'm responding, and I'm not going to go into all the messages. I have them, but let's put it this way. It ends with me saying, Autumn, you know, the reality is if that Icon and Vertical Doors got along a little bit better and could see things more, you know, together, we both could be doing so much better, you know, and be doing so many things. And she says, you're right. And then follows that with, effectively immediately, you're canceled, and your contract with us is canceled. So you can no longer buy kits from us. So, but we're going to ship out all the kits that you have on order. And I just said, okay. And then I'll never forget, it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks go by. And I get a call from Louis, which is the owner, and then Rob, which is the other owner. And they're like, what's going on? Like, what happened? And I told Louis, I said, Louis, you know, honestly, man, and I've known Louis. I like Louis. I liked Louis. I said, but no offense, Louis. The fact that that's your company and you're calling me, asking me what happened, that says a lot, you know, about your involvement with the decisions, big decisions that your company makes. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end. You know, they both asked, you know, what can we do to make this right? Obviously, we want you back. We don't want to lose you. And again, truth be told, as I was telling you before, Scott, we were their number one retailer. We were spending, we were giving them and buying anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000 a month is what they were making off of us alone. So we were a massive part of their, their revenue stream, and that was gone like that when they made that decision.
Wow.
So it wasn't they wanted me back because they care about me. They care less. They cared about that dollar amount.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Absolutely. Well,
So that's ultimately
sometimes
what happened, and yeah.
So sometimes these types of things happen for a reason, and
Yep.
and hence you are here as the owner of Eikon Motorsports now talking to us about the newest, latest, greatest version. So, I mean, there is sometimes you wonder what the heck is happening at the time when it happens, but sometimes it works out. So,
Yeah.
Well,
and they're probably hear about this too, Tim.
Yeah, I know. Jim, you finally made it with you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, look, hey, Jack, look who's here. We got Jim in here. Isn't that amazing? Jim Rose. Yep, absolutely. So Jim, thanks for coming, buddy. Oh, and yeah, Jim just ordered a brand new set of paddle shifters for his car, the magnetic paddle shifters.
That's 3 times. There you go.
Yep. So anyway, we got those rolling. We're coming. I have a set for mine. I haven't had a chance to put them on yet, and he's all gung ho. He already wants them, so he's probably gonna end up getting my set, and then I'll wait for him. He's wanting to go on that. So we have a big run out here, Tim, on February 15th, and
nice.
Jim's wanting to make sure that he gets them installed before that, which just happens to be my birthday, by the way. But
that's not a plug, though, is it? Is that a plug? That's not a plug.
Oh, absolutely, that's right. Send gifts and presents.
Someone's fishing for gifts.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's see. So
and don't forget, everybody, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe on the channel and hit that like button. We appreciate that. We're trying to get as much followers as we can, and we appreciate everybody joining up with us tonight. It's seem like we're getting a pretty good showing every week now, so it's coming along quite.
It's getting good, but we only got 15 likes, guys. Everybody that's on here, hit your like button and hit the hit
that like button. Don't hesitate. Come on now.
Give me all the likes you can, guys. I appreciate it. It really does help. It don't cost you nothing to hit that darn button, but it does help our algorithm. Okay, so
this is one of the few places you'll go to where you can get stuff and it don't cost you nothing other than your time.
Absolutely. All you got to do is say hi, and that's all there is. Guys, there was a little bit of a bug in the very beginning. Oh, I'm getting a bunch of hearts. Oh, that's nice.
That's me.
Right
that's
on.
me.
Is that you?
There you go, Tim. Tim's going to be now.
Hey, it's Carlton. I thought you were gone for the night. I'm glad you're back. He just popped in here. Walt's been sitting there waiting patiently here he's asking it, is it any more difficult to install on a C7?
Yeah, I was just reading that. There's a couple other questions to see. Yes, it's definitely more difficult to install on a C7. It's different. I wouldn't say more difficult. It's very different. The whole front end of a C7 has come off. The fenders are the only thing that's come off on the C8. So it's definitely a different process. It's a longer process. I was pretty proud back in the day. I was pretty proud of pushing myself, and because I enjoyed that part of it. The not necessarily the stress that comes along with it, but the challenge of like, what can I do? Like, let's hit a limit. Let's see where I am. So I did 4 C8s in one day, and from start to finish, 4 of them in one day. And what I really, really always wanted to do, but also never really had the opportunity, because obviously to be able to do 4 in one day, you have to have 4 people in the same location that want doors done at the same time. And that in of itself is kind of rare. That's not a common thing. So it just so happens that we have a video on our YouTube channel. I did 2 C7s in one day. And I knew, I'm not gonna lie, I had doubts. I didn't think I would be able to do it. I did it, but I felt it for 4 or 5 days after, for sure. So it was something that I would never do again, but I had to do it at least one time to see if I could, and I was able to do it. I think it took like 11 hours or something like that, but it was done in one day, and the customers loved it. They absolutely loved it. So yeah, it's just different. It's because you have to tear apart the whole front end. To get the fenders off, you have to take the front bumper off. To get the bumper off, you have to take the headlights off. Vice versa. All that stuff. So it's just you've got to tear apart that whole car just to
lot
to
more.
get to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, a lot more.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Well,
Let's see. We've
I
got.
saw another one from Nora.
Yep, that's when I was just going there.
Oh, sorry,
Why have I
sorry.
seen a couple other people post horrible things about your kits failing? Um, oh, and you talked
Wow,
about that briefly with me on the phone. So yeah,
I did.
go ahead and address that. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to hear what that one is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've never shied away from the truth. We are a manufacturer. I'm not 27 years experience manufacturing. I am by trade an aeronautical engineer. I have an actual degree for engineering. Never really utilized it or used it up until obviously more recently. But there was a lot of learning curves, a lot of things that were kind of unknowns, in the designing vertical door kits, market or industry when I took that made that decision of, what, we have too much on the line. We were a multi-million dollar company that revolved around somebody else's product at the time. And it was so easy for them to cancel us. And that was when, not to go back to that question, but that was like a light switch moment for us because it was like, you're right. Fuck, what? Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I said, but you're right. Like, what are we gonna do now? If they don't sell us kits, if we can't get their kits, we are an installation company. And if we don't have anything to install, then we have to lay off our installers, we have to lay off our office staff. Like we have all these different things that we have to pay for, and we have to make that decision. So it's like, you know what? I'm done suggesting to vertical doors, hey, this is what your customers are saying to me when I'm doing these installs. This is what they would like to see your kit do. Are you going to make the change? Or are you going to do anything to address these? And they never did. So honestly, the decision to make our own was rather simple. Was easy, but
Made it easy.
yeah, they made it easy. We exist because they made working with them difficult. I mean, there's no other real significant way to say that wouldn't be truthful. I mean, because that's the truth. We are now their actual competitor because when we were their retailer, they treated us like we were their competitor,
Yeah.
which is just mind-boggling to me. But again, can't go back in the past, and I wouldn't want to anyways. But what
Right.
you see, and I've seen, like I was talking to you, like Scott. So Nord, I guess to answer your question, I get posts, I get comments, I get screenshots from quite a different bit of people when it comes to doors, because obviously I've been in this industry for so long. Everyone feels the need to text me or call me or email me when they see something about doors, which is great. But I do know that there are people, companies, Bokino Motorsports being one, specifically Blake from Bokino Motorsports. Not to give them a plug, but because I normally always refrain from mentioning businesses' names and people's names, because whether it's positive or negative, there's no reason to give them clout or attention. But the reality is that there would be no V1 or V2 without the V1. We learned from the
Right.
V1.
Yes.
Right.
We hit the market. We learned, okay, this material is not indestructible like the manufacturer of this material says it is. So we had to kind of go back to the drawing board there. So there was multiple different things that we learned
Right.
with the engineering behind the V1. And the V2 is kind of a culmination of the perfecting, the V1 in a sense. And what you still see to this day is these companies, Bokino Motorsports, for example, and Blake from Bokino, is posting photos from a V1. It's not even a V2. It's an old early edition of a V1 that we knew had issues. We publicly announced the issues. We discontinued the product, and we publicly issued a pathway to replace it with a V2. So again, I'm not trying to be, a prick or a dick or whatever, but it's like, what more can we do?
Right.
What
No,
what
absolutely.
more do you expect me to do?
Right.
We've apologized publicly. We acknowledge the problems. We fixed the problems, and here's a pathway to make it right.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I don't.
I'm not gonna name names of different things, but there's a lot of different companies, as you know. I mean, that's what my primary thing is to show people how to install stuff or install it for them if they want it done. Because there's a lot of this
Yeah.
that they can't, they don't have the tools, whatever it may be. But the manufacturers of these parts, they throw some of them don't offer any warranties, no, right? And then the ones that do, not one. I'm still yet to this day to ever been reimbursed when I have a product failure. Now I stand behind everything I do. So if I put something on a car, right, and it's within a reasonable time, right? I mean, I'm not talking years, but within that first year that I install something and it falls apart, the manufacturer, obviously, they 9 times out of 10, I think I've only known a few things that have ever got anything more than a 90-day warranty, but they never warranty my labor. Right? They just expect you, like, they just treat it like as everyone's installing their own stuff, which that isn't the case, and that they just don't stand behind nothing. I don't ever get a dime back, so I eat that, right? I take care of the customer on it, but you've done your due diligence to do everything, so and like I said, from what I've seen with your V2, that. I mean, it's a far cry from what you were installing in the past to what you got today. And, but, there's, I don't know. I don't know exactly what, I mean,
it's the only friction-free kit on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was saying, it's the only friction-free kit on the planet. And so every moving part is controlled by a product or a component designed to handle those types of movements. So it's so far over engineered when it comes to like our main bearings, for example. So our part, we have 2 main bearings in the part that goes up and down. We use 2 bearings in there, and they're 2-inch outer diameter, 1-inch inner diameter. Those, I think, we have a tech spec on our website. But off the top of my head, I believe that those are rated for like 15,000 plus PSI each, and there's 2. So you can't possibly tell me you think that there's 30,000 pounds of force on that door right now, because there's not.
Really, exactly.
There's not. So it is so far over the top and it wasn't necessarily before on the material side, and that's the biggest difference between the V1 and the V2. Is the V1's was 100% aluminum. Great in theory, we discovered. Okay, real world, application, not so much, not the greatest. So we've combined T60, 60, or T6, 60, 61 aluminum, where we can use that, where there's no forces required, and no tension required. And then we used A36 industrial grade steel. So we've used a very, very high quality structural grade steel where structure is important, rigidity is important. And then, utilize some weight saving, things along the way. So as far as component goes, component for component, half of our kit is half of a complete kit. So both left and right side, each one is half A36 steel and half T60, 61 aluminum. And just one side is heavier than a complete vertical door kit. So even that tells you what it tells me on the engineering side and tech spec wise, is the steel that we use for our component. We're using half the steel that they're using, but one side of our kit weighs over their complete kit.
Wow.
So the density, the rigidity, it's a much stronger, much more, specific steel for those forces. Because at the end of the day, back in the day when I went into, wanting to design this, obviously I've seen what's on the market. I installed what's on the market for 27 plus years. So there really isn't anything that I don't or couldn't foresee the doors going through. Like I said, I've seen it all. I've seen some questionable stuff, but I've seen it all nonetheless. But I put a plate between the kit and the frame of the vehicle. And this was one of the stuff that, and this is more of like an installation side, I think, more so than an engineering side of the kit. But the forces when you open your door, what you feel at your hand, your fingertips, when your door's opening, the force that you get from your fingers, and then you compare it and you run it down that door to where it's bolted to the car, that sometimes transitions to 2,500 plus PSI in forces. So a 10-pound pull is the equivalent to a 1,500 PSI force at the bolt locations on the frame of the car. So when people were asking, does it walk? Does it move? After this, like, there's no gaps anymore that keep moving because we compensate for that because of the forces. There's so much more forces being applied now to the frame of the, but we had to find out what those forces were. That's the only way to eliminate, issues is we got to find out what they are. And we've got to test it. No, we didn't crash test the cars. I mean, there was a company that makes vertical door kits that has done that, believe it or not. But
right.
we're not
Yep.
GM. We're not building cars here. We're making a part and component, but we
Yep.
want to test it as much as we possibly can. So we made it as rigid as we can because at the end of the day, it's not about making something last forever. It's about maximizing the lifespan of it and how can this be designed and engineered to prolong the life for as long as possible. So hence the lifetime warranty from us, the lifetime free replacement of shocks forever.
You can't beat that. You can't beat the
You can't
lifetime
beat
warranty.
that.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Hey, Tim, can you go over again? Because I've seen for people to come in late, just a general idea of what it would probably cost and an installation time and how to get a hold of it.
Add this to there. So it says, do y'all travel to the customer for the installation anywhere in the country? What is the lead time for a C7? Then include the prices for us. So that way all the latecomers have got it. And yes, Phil, these are the same doors that are on Larry Tonti's car. There you go.
Yep.
I've been queuing these just so we can we can get taken care of.
So first and foremost, I want to say, unfortunately, we do not have a C7 kit yet. We are almost done with our V2 Series C7 kit. I'm looking at the frame side to our C7, but I'm not going to show it yet. But there's a few more things that we have to finish for the C7 when it's for it to be available. But we're anticipating our V2 series for the C7 to be officially out within the next month and a half. It will be out. A lot of the things that we're working on right now is figuring out the shock pressures because that's probably one of the most important parts of everything. Right. And that could be a whole different episode just talking about the shocks themselves,
Yeah.
Tim, but as far as
real quick, I want you to talk about one thing, and this is something I've seen in my shop over and over and over between the original style and this is on the C7 and the C8. So this isn't something that is between the two versions, but you're talking about the harness. The way the harness is done on the older version ends up tearing the wires apart over time. I've never seen a passenger side door ever break. I've never had a problem, but I've had the wiring harness break on the driver door because of, obviously, the driver is always in the car. So that's the one that's getting the most use. But I've had to send, I don't know how many C8s and C7s to Chevrolet for a new harness, the new door harness, because those wires end up getting broken and then the windows don't operate, the door won't open. You name it. So I just wanted you to touch base on that a little bit too.
So when it comes to the wiring, for the longest time, this is probably going to be a longer than needed answer, and I apologize for that. But for the longest time, we were an installation company that specialized in obviously installing vertical doors. So there was a lot of tools that we would make along the years of doing this that would make our jobs easier. There's a lot of different pathways that we would experiment to go down to discover shortcuts for things, to discover a different way of doing things. And when it comes to the wiring, that was one of the main things. So when the C8 actually came out, we had to fly back out to, I think, 12 or the first 12 installs that we did to rewire the door again, because we realized, oh crap, like it's not the same as the C7, or the way that we figured we could do the wiring isn't the right way to do the wiring on the C8. So we had to relearn that. So everything's always a learning curve. So it's just about giving us the opportunity. And I think that's what makes, so at least what I've always kind of said is nothing makes us better and nothing makes anyone better than the next person other than if they have more experience doing something. And that experience is what I think makes that person, and for lack of better terminology, better than the other, is they just have done it longer. They've done more. I can tell you right now, if I need a knee replacement, I'm going to go to the doctor who's done 1,000 of them versus the dude that was like, hey, I've got a piece of paper says I can do this. I'm going to go to the dude that's done 1,000 of them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's kind of like that. So as far as the wiring is concerned, we've always just rewired the doors. We never cut a wire. I have never. I would say I never, but if you can find a video from 23 years ago on YouTube of me cutting a Cadillac Seville, I think it was a Cadillac DeVille, bright pink, 30 something wires on the passenger side and 40 something wires on the driver's side. That's how many wires, but every single one of them had to be cut. And this was early on in my career of learning how to do, doors in general. But we don't cut wires at all. Especially that's newer cars. Yeah, you never know what wire has a resistor in it, because if you cut that wire, there goes all the resistance. Like, you've just destroyed or created a electrical nightmare for someone and yourself. And when you're doing something as a business, that business is liable for obviously paying for your damage. So I won't touch things like that, and we won't cut wires. So, but we rewire the doors. So technically speaking, like, I guess more specifically, your question is, with the C7s, I've noticed, just my experience, the driver's side has more wire access than the passenger side does. But for the amount that the doors go up, and this is where it really comes down to, the installation really makes or breaks the difference, is the make or break deal type thing. And if you don't know what you're doing, and you're not knowing how to give you the maximum amount of wire allowance that's possibly there, then you're going to have, wiring issues. I can tell you firsthand, like, our wires there's no stress on our wires when we do an install. There's no tension. You're not pulling. We're taking the door panel off. We're rewiring. We're rerouting things. We're freeing up all the slack that's already inside the door. Okay. We're not extending anything.
But your V2 your V2 doesn't even you can't even see the wires.
No,
that's the thing. So that's where I was going with that, is that it's just, they're just tucked away, and they're done in such a nice, clean fashion. Look. Yeah, it's very clean.
Very clean.
And right now, you see this, on the other versions, you're seeing this big harness come hanging out there, and it's just like out in the way. And usually the rubber boot has been pulled out of the door, and it's hanging free, and it's just not clean. Yeah, it's so those of you that want your car to be right, these are the ones you need to put on there. And because I don't like that. I just don't. It's got to be. And those of you that know me and the work that I've done, I don't like that being shoddy like that. And this is one of the things I really like about this kit that he's got, is that it is very clean.
Corvette owners don't like that. Corvette owners generally don't like half-ass work. They don't like they don't want that. And then
exactly.
And we were talking earlier. Most people want exclusivity to some degree. They want something that nobody else really has or has the ability to get. And this sounds very arrogant to say, or stupid to say, not necessarily about myself, but just the fact that I know that this is true, is I've done this where I've spent an absorbent amount of money on something simply because I know you can't afford it, but I can. And that makes me feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and there are people that do that.
Yes.
There are people that
too bad you haven't
that
met
love
Kevin.
that.
Oh yeah, he's thinking the same thing, won't we, Scott?
But that's just
Kevin,
the world that we
buddy.
live in. And like you were saying, like, so when I actually set out to design this kit back in the 5 years ago with the V1, functionality wasn't my number one thing. Actually, functionality was number 3. The appearance was number 1. I want to make this the best looking thing when it's on the car. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's figure out how to make it work then, type thing. And then let's design this kind of backwards in a sense. And what I never liked about the other kits on the market is, doesn't matter what color your car is, what color your calipers are, you're stuck with a very crappy glossy black kit with contrasting silver nuts to it that bolted on. That in of itself looks like crap. So,
Yep.
and I didn't send you any pictures, but if you had a close-up picture of a competitor's kit, a vertical door ink kit on a car, it doesn't look pretty. Like nothing's pretty about it. Nothing's attractive about it. It
Right.
doesn't look like it belongs. And I think what I love the most about hearing customers, talking to customers, especially after installs, is that it's like, man, this looks like it came this way from the factory. Well, that was the point.
Yep.
Thank you. That's
No,
the greatest
absolutely.
honor you could. That's the greatest compliment you could say to me, because that was
Absolutely.
the actual true intent, was to make something that looks like it belongs in the car. Because this is a very beautiful car. It's a
Yep.
very, very beautiful car. Why would
Absolutely.
you want anything on it that looks like crap?
When
Yeah.
I saw Larry's car Saturday, it looked like it came with the car.
I know. It's
I mean,
Exactly.
I was totally
Yep.
impressed with the appearance. I really was. That was
And I
the one
appreciate that.
And that's the one thing we all wanted to look smooth and perfect. And it looked like it flowed right with the door frame. It looked really well.
Yep.
Very well.
Yeah, it does. And I always tell people, match your calipers. If you have colored calipers, obviously up until I think 24 or 23 was the first year that they offered more than just black or torch red. But now that they've got like 5 or 6 different caliper colors, then from 20 to 26 models now. But whatever color your calipers are, that's the kit you want on your car. In my opinion, that's what looks the best to me. Because as if you show those pictures, you see when the door's up in the air and it accents it right. It's the contrasting colors, as you can see your torch caps, your torch shock, and then your torch calipers all in the same area. And it's just like, man, that looks so good. That looks so nice, so clean. If your
Yep.
if your calipers are black, then match your vehicle color.
Hey guys,
I think
we're getting close to we're getting close. I got another question for you, but guys, hit those
sorry.
like buttons. Come
Hit those like
on,
buttons.
give me some
Come on.
likes here, okay? I'm seeing the hearts and the roses and all that type of stuff. Give me some likes. Tim, one more question here, and then I think we're going to end up having to get onto the raffle. So, any difference in the install for the HTC versus the coupe?
Well, no, but I have a funny story about that.
Okay.
But no, it's the same. The funny story is I thought I destroyed an HTC. So there's a video
Okay.
on our channel. Yeah, there's a video on the channel. I did the install on the world's first HTC, and this was back in I think 21. I can't remember. It was down in Key Largo, Florida, and that was the very first one that I did. And then about less than a month later, I was already on to like my 5th or 6th HTC. However, it was the first time that I came out, and this video is on our channel too. We don't record videos for every install that we do, obviously, but this one specifically was a live stream of an install. And that customer was the first HTC that I did the install with the top down or the top, open and everything down. What I didn't know, and I called my buddy who owned the dealership in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because we had contracts with different GM dealerships throughout the country at the time. And I'm like, hey, did GM release anything on the C8? And he's like, no. Why? What's going on? I was like, have you heard any issues about the HTCs whatsoever? He's like, no. What is happening? What did you do? I said, well, I think I might have destroyed one. And he's like, what? And I said, well, I did a set of doors on an HTC, and I can't reset the windows because the car's not letting me reset the windows. To reset the windows, the top has to be closed on the HTCs. Well, to close the top, nothing was said about GM putting a fail-safe or a restrictor, whatever you want to call it, into their HTCs where they won't even allow you to open the top if it's below a certain amount of temperature outside. And it took forever for that information to be leaked by GM or be mentioned by GM. But I was the first one, I swear to God, I was the first one that ever experienced that problem or, the suffering from the issue with that. So this was during the time where we were removing the front bumpers doing the installs because we didn't learn the tips and tricks and shortcuts in different ways. So to do that, you have to unplug. Not every single one had the cameras in the front, not every, the different models, but this specific one, they all have the temperature sensor is plugged in and is in the front bumper. You have to unplug that. and about 40% is kind of where
So it
I
did
I
really
made
tell.
I figured, yeah, and about 40% of the cars that I removed the front bumpers on, not every single one, which is weird, but 40% of them, when we went to put that bumper back on, it was just kind of out of sight, out of mind. You didn't think about it because it was never an issue. Is if you notice in the infotainment center, it would say it's negative 40 degrees outside, and it would have to take time to reset itself just
Okay.
naturally. And so, because this HTC had something in the programming that doesn't allow the top to operate under a certain temperature, which I still don't know what the actual temperature is yet, but I can damn well guarantee you it's not negative 40. You know, that's too cold.
In
So they're gonna
Florida, on
stop
top
you
of that, yeah.
right? So that was the funny butthole pucker moment for sure, because I thought I destroyed an HTC, and I remember calling my ex at the time, and I'm like, well, I think we just bought another Corvette, and she's like, what? I said, well, we may be the proud new owners of an HTC Corvette, because I think we might have just destroyed. I might have just destroyed this gentleman's car, and luckily, so I was just. And the thing is too, like about doing what I do, when you're showing up at people's houses, you know, first and foremost, they trust you. They trust you. You're their expert. I don't know why I'm air quoting myself to expert, but you know that you're the expert that they have came out. They paid to come out to do this.
Right.
So your facial expressions are everything. If I looked concerned, you're definitely going to be concerned.
Exactly.
You know, so that's a problem, but that's something that we always have to be aware of. And that's something that I've always been aware of, is that I know that if I indicate a problem, they're going to see right through that, and then I'm chiseling away the trust they have in myself, in me, and I don't want to do that, obviously. So I maintained composure, but I was definitely panicking. So I was just, you know, I took a whim, had no idea this would work, but I'm just like, why don't you just go drive it around, you know, the block a little bit? And he was like, okay. He was an eye surgeon. He would live out right outside of Atlanta, and so it was nice out. It wasn't cold, but so he left, unable to operate the top whatsoever. It wouldn't close. It wouldn't open. The windows wouldn't go up. Nothing. And about 10 minutes later, he pulls back in the driveway. Tops up. Windows are up. Everything's closed. And I'm just like, oh my god, thank God. You know, like it works and it's fixed. But then later on, I found out that's why was the temperature sensor, or the temperature sensor was triggering the car to not let the top operate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But other than that, there's no difference there's no model that actually has any differences for what it is that we have to deal with
what
for the
you
doors.
do.
They're all
Right.
this. Yeah, they're all the same.
That's cool.
And that's another thing that kind of was shocking to me too. And I know that we're running short on time, but I remember when the Z06 came out, and it was like, okay, you know, it's a wide body. Is there going to be a difference? And my experience tells me no, because why would GM go through all the R&D to build this frame just to change the frame a few years after? They're not going to. Body panels and frame are two different things.
Yes.
So I was confident that the existing kit for the C8 would fit the Z06, and sure enough, thank God it did. However, here comes vertical doors. So what does vertical doors do when the Z06 is released? They add $1,000 to their kit and say it's specifically for the Z06. It's the same damn kit.
Wow.
It's the same kit.
That's marketing for you. I
Yeah, that's some kind of marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
No, that's crazy.
Interesting, Tim. Interesting. Yeah.
Well, Tim, I want to thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. You know, I mean, there's anybody that didn't know anything about vertical doors, now they do. And so now you know exactly what to do. So if you guys are running into a problem with your doors, you know, this is you know, get a hold of Larry, and they can schedule that. Tim, you even if they're scheduled through Larry, you can either do it at Larry's shop, or you can do it at their home. Is that correct?
Yeah. So whether or not we go to their home is determined by Larry. So Larry will make that decision. So we gave, like, our wholesale side of Eikon is completely different than what anyone that sells vertical door kits by Vertical Doors Inc. would be used to. Is we actually value and cherish our retailers, and we want them to trust that we're not selling stuff behind their back, we're not going after their target market, we're not competing with them. So the way that it's kind of drawn up and is expected common sense and courtesy would say is that's Larry's backyard. We're not going to come and play in it without getting permission from Larry. It's his refrigerator, in his home, whatever.
Right.
So it's planned. What was mentioned was any kits that customers buy from Larry, the install done at their house. Now, like I said, if Larry's okay with us doing the install at the customer's house instead of them bringing their car to Larry's shop in Tint World and Concord, that's a question they need to ask Larry. Is set that up with Larry, and then he'll organize that with us. So we just show up to the customer's house.
Well, there you go, guys. Well, let's go ahead and put up the. Let me get this up over here so you guys have got this, so you can see who the winner is. Let me get this up on the screen here. Yep, we're gonna put the randomizer up here, and we're gonna go ahead and pick the winner now. So this is for a men's or a women's t-shirt. We're going to put this up over here on the screen so you can see it. And let me see here. All right. So,
Tim, you make sure you get not to send you one of them shirts now, Tim.
Yep. All
I want one.
Did you put your name in there, Tim?
I don't think I did. I mean, I've commented, but
okay. Well, as long as you commented, you're listed. All right. Guys, thanks for watching. Here we go. Here's the winner.
Oh, I better win.
Oh, this gonna think it's rigged if you win.
We got to pick another one. You just won, honey.
Yeah.
No.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
All right, here we go. We're gonna pick another one. Nightbot. Okay, I think this is I don't think that's an actual real winner there.
No, you need to no. I saw that was not. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, then we're gonna grab one more here.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Oh, come on.
Nightbot.
Do it again. I know. Well, he made a few different comments today. Oh,
yes.
Tina, you won the t-shirt.
Yay, Tina!
All right, cool. All right. So, Mr. Nightbot, if you actually do really exist, I want you to reach out to me at thecorvettechannel@gmail.com and let me know who you are. You pop in all the time, but I'm not exactly sure who or what that is. So, anyway, so guys, well, let's see. No, now all you guys to chime in. Great information tonight. Well, thanks again. I see there you are, Tim. I see you, Phil, Marcus, and Tina, and Tina. You guys, I'm glad you guys won tonight. Guys, next week, I'm hoping to. It's either going to be next week or the week after, most likely. We're going to have Joeler from Solar Performance on. And he's going to talk about the Solar Performance throttle controllers and all of their products. So that way you guys can have a good idea of what you're going to get. If you don't already have a throttle controller, reach out to me. I will be happy to sell you one or install one for you. And I tell you what, that is probably one of the coolest mods you can do.
Cars.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It doesn't help the gas mileage, but it sure helps everything.
No, not at all. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to cut this off. You guys have a great night, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Okay?
Thank you for joining, buddy. We're glad to meet you, and I'm sure we'll be doing